You have died before, not in a past life, not metaphorically. You, the person watching this right now, have already experienced your own death, and something sent you back. You just don't remember it. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to look at every close call you've ever survived very differently. There is a theory that physicists and philosophers have quietly debated for decades. It's called quantum immortality, and it begins with one of the strangest ideas in modern science. Every time a quantum event has more than one possible outcome, the universe doesn't choose. It splits. Both outcomes happen. Both timelines become real. This is the many worlds interpretation, and it isn't fringe science. It was proposed by physicist Hugh Everett in 1957, and today some of the most brilliant minds in physics take it seriously. But here's where it gets deeply unsettling. If every possible outcome plays out in some branch of reality, then in every scenario where you could have died, there is a version of the timeline where you did, and there is a version where you didn't. Your consciousness, by its very nature, can only ever follow the path where it survives. You would never experience the branches where you cease to exist. You would simply continue, waking up the next morning, unaware that somewhere, in another thread of reality, your story ended. Think about that for a moment. Think about every car that almost hit you, every illness that could have been worse, every flight you almost didn't take, every night you fell asleep, not knowing something nearly went terribly wrong. What if those weren't lucky breaks? What if those were the seams between worlds? The places where one version of you didn't make it, and your awareness quietly shifted to the timeline where you did. Now here's what no one talks about. People who survive near-death experiences often report something that doesn't fit neatly into medical science. They describe a sensation of returning, not of narrowly escaping, but of being pulled back, as if consciousness itself refused to terminate. Researchers at the University of Southampton conducted a 4-year study across 15 hospitals. They found that awareness can persist for several minutes after the heart stops, and the brain shows no measurable activity. Several minutes, in a brain that, by every scientific standard, should produce nothing. Some patients described watching their own resuscitations from above and reported details later verified by medical staff. These aren't hallucinations. Hallucinations don't produce accurate, verifiable information. Something else is happening, and we do not have a comfortable explanation for it. There's another layer to this. Many people who've come back from clinical death describe a strange and recurring sensation in the weeks and months that follow. The world feels slightly different. Not wrong exactly, but shifted, like a song played in a key that's almost right but not quite. Colors seem subtly off. Relationships feel rearranged in ways they can't articulate. Some report that people around them behave just differently enough to notice, as if the world they returned to isn't exactly the world they left, as if they woke up in the next closest version of their life. And this connects to something you may have felt yourself: déjà vu, that overwhelming sensation that you have lived this exact moment before. What if you have? Not because of a glitch in memory, but because consciousness occasionally bleeds between branches. A faint echo from a version of you that walked a slightly different path and arrived at the same moment from a different direction. The feeling isn't a malfunction, it's a fingerprint of the split. So here's what I want you to sit with tonight. You cannot prove that you have lived one continuous, unbroken life. You cannot prove that the reality you woke up in this morning is the same one you fell asleep in last night. And you cannot prove that every narrow escape was simply luck. Maybe you've been dying and continuing for longer than you realize. Maybe the reason you're still here isn't chance. It's because consciousness doesn't end. It relocates. It finds the next open door and walks through it before you even know a door was needed. You are not a person who got lucky. You are something that refuses to stop existing, and the fact that you're hearing this right now might just be proof.